Hello everyone, welcome to Elite Engineer. In this video, we are going to see a new concept known as blockchain, presented by me, Elite Engineer. So before we begin to deep dive into the blockchain technology, we'll start with the basic terminologies of blockchain. We'll start with understanding blockchain. It's one of the hottest technology of late. What it is? It's a blockchain. But what exactly is a blockchain and how does it actually work? We are going to find the answers to these two questions and learn the concept of blockchain, how the concept was conceived, and what the problem it aimed to solve. By the end of this presentation, I assure you that the idea and the motivation behind the blockchain would be crystal clear to you. So, what is the motivation behind studying this blockchain? To understand why we need cryptocurrencies, we first start with understanding a fundamental concept, that is a trust. We know that trust is a main factor. Either we are working, either we are in relationship. Trust is one of the things that defines where we are and where we should be. Today, any asset of a value or a transaction is recorded by a third party, such as bank, government, or a company. We know that we trust bank wouldn't steal our money and they are regulated by governments. Even if bank fail, it is backed by the government. We also trust our credit card companies. Seller trust credit card companies to pay them the money and the buyers trust credit card companies to settle the disputes with the seller. So, what is the placement of trust? All this boil down to one key concept, that is a placement of trust. And that is we place our trust on a central body. Like in previous case, there was a government as a central body, right? So think about it. In our everyday life, we place our trust on banks and we place our trust on our governments. Even for simple day-to-day activities, we place our trust in central bodies. For example, when we go to library to borrow a book, we trust that library would maintain a proper record of our books that we have borrowed, that we have returned, or we are or what is there in that stock itself, right? So, what is a placement of trust that we are going to see? The key theme is that we trust institutions, but we don't trust each other, right? For example, if you give your friend $100, so what you need in return is something that is a trust. Either you trust that guy, whether you should give him money or not. That is a trust factor that come into play. We trust our government, banks, and even our libraries, but we don't trust each other. That is right. As an example, consider the following scenario. Imagine you work at a cafe and someone walks up to you and offers you a $10 US bill for a 2 cup of coffee, and another person who offers you to pay you for 2 cups of coffee using a handwritten note that you owe him $10. So maybe next time he will pay you the $10 when he will come back. So which one will you trust? The answer is pretty obvious, isn't it? Naturally, you would trust the US $10 bill as opposed to the handwritten note. This is because you understand that using the $10 bill, you can use it elsewhere to exchange for the other goods or services. And that is backed by the US government itself. In contrast, the handwritten note is not backed by anyone else except perhaps the person who wrote it, mined it, and hence it has literally no value. So, when we talk about placement of trust in more detail, now let's take a discussion bit further. Okay. Again, imagine you are trying to sell something, right? Someone comes up to you and suggests paying for your goods using currencies. Would you accept the currencies as shown in the figure, this one and this one? So here you have two different currencies. One is from Venezuela and one is from Zimbabwe. In this case, the first thing you consider is whether these currencies are widely accepted or not, and also your trust in this government. You might have read from the news about hyperinflation in these two countries and that these currencies might not retain its value over time. And so, would you accept these currencies as a payment or not? This is totally up to you. Now, there is a trust issues that come into picture. Okay, I will explain you with an example. Earlier on, I mentioned that people trust institutions but don't trust each other. But even established economics can fail, such as in case of financial crisis of United States in 2007-2008. Investment bank Lehman Brothers collapsed in September 2008 because of the subprime mortgage market. So if the banks from established economies can collapse, How can people in the less developed countries trust their banks as well as government? That is the biggest problem what we are facing right now. Even if the banks are trusted, your deposits may be monitored by the government and they could arrest you based on your transactions, right? So, as we have seen in the example in the previous section, there are times when the people don't trust institutions also, especially if the political situations in that country is not at all stable. All these discussions bring up to the next key issue. Even though people trust institutions, but institutions can still fail. And when the people lose trust in the institutions, people turns to the cryptocurrencies, such as the famous cryptocurrencies is that, can you name them? Yes, right. They are Bitcoin and Ethereum. In the next part of the videos, we're going to discuss how we can solve the trust issues using decentralization. It's a fundamental concept behind the cryptocurrencies, right? So it's a solving trust issue using decentralization we are going to see in the next video. Thank you for watching this video. Be there in the next video to learn blockchain from basic to the advanced and to the coding. Thank you for watching this video.